Recording in three, two, and one.
Episode 2 of 3. There's going to be some more controversy and some laughs.
I can't wait. Welcome to episode 209 of Nerdery Murdery.
Big 209. I'm Zig with your nerdery.
And I'm Jeffrey with your Murdery. Welcome to another week of the highs and lows, the ups and downs, the good and the bad, and the nerd and the murd. All right, I'm ready for you to kick it off. Let's get into it.
Okay. Today is episode 2 of 3 of Power Ballads. So again, as with episode 1, we're going to start with the criteria that we used. Our criteria are has to have power chords. It needs to be bluesy rock, has a bluesy rock guitar solo, kind of heavy or heavy, which is what gives it the power. The singer needs to sing the tits off of it. It needs to get stuck in your head. It needs to be about lost or unrequited love or fear of love. And it needs to be a little bit cheesy. And I would also say it needs to kind of tell a complex story in a short amount of time. Hence the ballad part. So, a few notes about power ballads in general. This is in continuation of episode 1. So in episode 1, we basically got up to the late 1980s. So here's where we continue. When grunge appeared as a counterpoint to the excesses of the 1980s hard rock and glam metal, one of the distinctions of the grunge style was the absence of power ballads. However, some songs from this era, such as Rooster by Alice in Chains, which Ned Radgett described as the band's own particular approach to the style, and Black Hole Sun by Soundgarden, have been described using this term, and songs in its subgenre post-grunge, including ballads. Again, I think everybody wants to do their own take on this. Again, you have in the 1980s, you have the Steel Dragon Way, whereas all these glam metal bands all did a power ballad so they could get girls into the show. It was every single one of them did one as part of a kind of a formula. And in some cases, they were incredible. In other cases, not so much. So today we're going to talk about a few more of these. And again, when we applied these criteria, we discovered that the power ballad continues. It keeps going on. It's still around. The first song is Mr. Brightside by the Killers. The Killers are an American rock band formed in Las Vegas, Nevada in 2001 by Brandon Flowers, the lead vocalist, keyboardist, and bass, and Dave Koenig, lead guitar and backing vocals. After going through a number of short-term bassists and drummers, both Mark Stomer and Ronnie Van Coozy Jr. Joined the band in 2002. The Killers have released 7 studio albums, each of which have topped the UK album charts: Hot Fuss, Sam's Town, Day and Age, Battleborn, Wonderful, 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 Imploding the Mirage, and Pressure Machine. Mr. Brightside is the debut single of American rock band The Killers. It's taken from their debut studio album Hot Fuss in 2004, written by band members Brandon Flowers and Dave Koenig. It was one of the first songs the Killers ever wrote. 2 music videos were made of the song. The first one was shot in black and white and features the band performing in an empty room, and the second one was based on the 2001 film Moulin Rouge. That's the one we included in the list. Before we go any further, I want everybody to stop and listen to the list.
Mr. Brightside is in Moulin Rouge?
No, no, the video is based on
Oh,
Moulin Rouge.
okay. Sorry, I
Yep.
misunderstood. Thank you.
The song was first released on September 29, 2003. It became more popular when re-released in 2004, peaking at number 10 in both the United States and United Kingdom. It's the Killer's best-selling song in the U.S., where it has sold over 3.5 million copies. In the United Kingdom, it's the 3rd biggest-selling streaming song of all time and is the longest charting single of the UK official singles chart top 100, having spent over 408 weeks on the chart as of 2024, so almost 8 years. Um, Again, this is one of those songs. It will get stuck in your head. Um, it's anthemic. You want to sing it real loud. It has the power chords. It's a little cheesy, and this motherfucker sings the ever-loving shit out of this song. What did you think about Mr. Brightside?
So I like the Killers, but I just can't put this one up to the other power ballads in this list or last week's. Um, I prefer Somebody Told Me of theirs over this one, but that's not a
Okay.
power ballad. I
But you
just
would agree that this is a power ballad.
it is a power ballad. I just didn't really like it very much,
Okay.
and I do like their stuff, so this now counts four that I didn't care for.
Really, really,
Yeah,
really, you like the Killers and you don't like Mr. Brightside.
I didn't.
That's
I
unusual.
really
But
no.
you recognize that it is a quality song.
I recognize it's a power ballad.
This one blows me away. It's just one of those ones. I can't believe this, and the part where she's touching her chest, and now she's touching his. He never says dick, but I think he should have. I bet he does when they play it live. This is one of those ones that just blows me away. And again, when I was applying this criteria, I was like, holy fucking shit, Mr. Brightside's power ballad. It's great. Um, the next song in our list is a masterpiece. Um,
I'm going to stop you.
mhm.
I'm going to stop you. I'm going to introduce this one.
Okay.
This is Prince's Purple Rain.
Hmm.
So, kids, I'm going to take you back into the pod back machine. We're going to go back to the mid 90s.
Oh fuck.
And there's a short, skinny, long-haired kid up gets up to the microphone in a bar full of people and starts belting out this song. Puts up such emotion into it that everyone in the bar is pulling out their lighters in unison to this music. Dear listeners, let me tell you that people stopped everything they were doing to listen to your host Zig sing the fuck out of this song. Every eye in the house would be on him. Got him a lot of girls too. You can't not love this song. This might be one of the very best power ballads in this list. But I want you to all imagine Zig now belting this song out because he
With
did.
hair.
Yeah, he had a lot of hair. This was karaoke for us, and this was a required song before the night would end. People would ask for it. Um, he did just amazing on this song, and Prince Prince sang the fuck out of this song.
Yeah, he sang the ever loving tits off of it.
Yeah,
I'm not 100% sure it's a power ballad. This is definitely a beautiful song. It's a wonderful song.
it is a power ballad. It 100%.
He definitely leans on the country slash gospel side of it because it's
Mm-hmm.
in a country key,
Mm-hmm.
which is why I can sing it.
Mm.
Uh, uh, but it's fucking great. It's just long, complex. Yeah, let's just say it ticks all the boxes.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful song. Prince Rogers Nelson was an American singer, songwriter, musician, and actor. Oh, and thank you for saying that too, by the way. The
What?
recipient, I can
Which
still
part?
sing it. The
Oh,
recipient,
hold on. R.I.P. Prince. So there you go.
yeah, R.I.P. Prince. The recipient of numerous awards and nominations, he is regarded as one of the greatest musicians of his generation. He was known for his flamboyant, androgynous persona, his wide vocal range, which included a far-reaching falsetto and high-pitched screams, and his skill as a multi-instrumentalist, often preferring to play all or most of the instruments on all of his recordings. His music incorporated a wide variety of styles, including funk, R&B, rock, new wave, soul, synth pop, pop, jazz, blues, and hip hop. Prince produced his album himself, pioneering the Minneapolis sound, which we have actually covered. Um, I would also say he hit gospel and country themes, and they are really, really prevalent on this song. You don't think of it as being kind of a country song, but if you listen real close, it's like, oh my God, and it'll blow you away. Country and funk. It's fucking phenomenal. Nobody else could have done it like that. Purple Rain is the sixth studio album by the American singer, songwriter, producer, and multi instrumentalist Prince. It was released on June 25th, 1984, by Warner Brothers as the soundtrack album of the 1984 film of the same name. Purple Rain was musically denser than Prince's previous albums, emphasizing full band performances and multiple layers of guitars, keyboards, electronic synthesizers, effects, drum machines, and other instruments. I'm relatively certain somebody was playing a kitchen sink on this recording. Purple Rain reached number 2 on the U.S. Billboard Hot 100 for 2 weeks, being kept off number 1 by "Wake Me Up Before You Go Go" by Wham.
Wham. Wham.
It hit number 1 on the U.S. Cashbox Top 100, where it stayed for 2 weeks. It is certified gold by the recording industry and is considered to be one of Prince's signature songs. Following Prince's death in 2016, Purple Rain re-entered the Billboard Hot 100, where it reached number 4. It also re-entered the UK singles charts at number 6, placing 2 spaces higher than its original pick. In France, where it originally peaked at number 12, Purple Rain reached number 1 a week after Prince's death. Purple Rain. It is the title track off of the soundtrack album Purple Rain. It's the last song he plays. It closes the movie out. It's beautiful. It's brilliant. I've included in our playlist the video from the. So there's a little bit of talking before the music starts, and then everybody just tears in the audience. One of the people, a couple of the guys in that audience, yeah, if you look really, really closely, you will see a couple of guys from Soul Asylum, a couple of guys from the Replacements, a couple of guys from Husker Du, because they were all there that night at First Street Avenue.
And Husker don't.
Husker Du's and the Husker Don'ts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Joe Dirt.
Thank you, Joe
Joe
Dirt.
Dirt. Did you know there
Um,
was a sequel to that movie?
yeah, I've seen it.
Wasn't very good.
It's all right. It did not have the heart the original Joe Dirt
No,
had.
no, not at all. I'm sorry. Speaking of films, real quick, I gotta backtrack a little bit because you mentioned Moulin Rouge, and I meant to say it. I think at some point you should cover Baz Luhrmann.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's definitely. I'm working on the notes for that.
Perfect.
Yeah. And a couple of other people too that pioneered that the idea of a musical using pre-existing recordings. It's kind of big right now.
Perfect.
But he was the one that pioneered that idea. Nobody had really thought of it before him.
Right.
Um, you know why? Because in Australia and New Zealand, they still have vaudeville.
Hmm.
We don't have it here anymore, but
Mm-hmm.
it's still
Mm-hmm.
a big thing over there. Um, I'm sorry, I got derailed.
That's
So
fine.
yes,
I derailed
Purple
it.
Rain, Prince, that whole fucking album is incredible. There's not a
Yep.
bad song on it. Just fucking pop it on and listen to it. Watch the fucking movie. My 10-year-old has a vinyl of this with the poster that gets played pretty regularly.
We've
Um,
had my thoughts on vinyl.
yeah, I love
I,
this sound.
I'll say it again. It's been way, way, way long since I saw it. All the people out there, listeners, I love you all, but I don't care that say vinyl is pure. Fuck you. No, it's not.
Well, I agree. CD is a truer version of the sound.
Yes.
However, vinyl, especially because no one's using the cheap vinyl anymore. Everybody's going 180 grams uh, vinyl, which is the really thick stuff
Hmm.
that they made records out of in the 70s, which is why all the 70s albums are in great shape because they made them out of better vinyl. um, it's warm. It's comforting. The sound itself is comforting. That's why people like it. It's the nostalgia for the sound.
Meh,
That's what it is.
meh.
But you're right. It's not a pure sound. I
No,
will
it's
agree
not.
with you.
It's not pure because you're going to get the little pops and everything.
Yeah, you're gonna get that.
And that's where I go to on that. People that say it's pure. It's like, no, fucking sit in a studio and listen to them record, and you're not going to hear those fucking pops in the background that you're going
You
to
are
hear on
not.
vinyl. It's not
You are not.
pure. But yeah,
You are
I know
not.
people have the nostalgia for vinyl, so I
It's the yeah. It's the sound.
I
It's
know.
that
I know.
noise.
I'm not disparaging anybody who's listening here who likes vinyl, but I am disparaging at the same time.
I'm sitting right next to a whole bunch of vinyl records right now.
I know you are.
They're like I can reach out and grab one. What is this? What do we got here? What is this? What is this? A fairy tale story, children's record. Oh, it's not letting me show it. Damn backgrounds. It's
Whatever.
a 78. That's a wax recording. Okay. Sorry, I got derailed there for a second. Yes, everybody check out Purple Rain. Just the
Yep.
song, the album, the fucking movie, everything. It's
I
just
wish we had a video recording somewhere of you doing Purple Rain because you do know there is a video of me doing safety dance out on
Mhm.
YouTube. It's out there to this day. I've seen it. I'm not going to tell everybody how to find it. Tough. Deal with it. But I wish we had one of you. We need to do
I,
that sometime.
I could still sing it.
You know what? If we do another karaoke night down here, I wonder if we coordinate you coming down for that. You would have loved our last karaoke night. I mean, there had to have been 55 people
Just singing.
on the patio at the golf club singing, and it was such a fun night. People dancing and singing along with it. It was phenomenal. You would have liked. I mean, this was old school karaoke for you and I.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah, it
Yeah.
was so much fun. I
Nice.
told them, I said, y'all need to have karaoke once a month because that was too much of a money driver. People were drinking and ordering food, and
Hmm.
it was just bringing in money.
Yeah. And plus, it's a private club. You can play as late as you want.
Well, you can't. So I discovered that because they told us it was only supposed to go till 9 o'clock. It started at 5 o'clock.
Hmm.
It was only supposed to go till 9 o'clock, but we actually went till about 10.
Hmm.
And um, there was one more song that the ladies wanted to do, and the DJ was saying, hey, I got to cut it off. I got to cut it off. And I went up, and I'd gotten to know the guy a little bit. It was like I said, it was old karaoke time. I bought him a couple drinks, and
Hmm.
blah 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 blah. Well, anyway, he says, no, I really got to shut it down. I just pulled a $20 bill out, and I go, dude, $20, one song. That's all I'm asking for. And so he played it, and ended up going up to 10 o'clock. I don't even remember what the song was, but like, I don't know, there were like six ladies up there belting out the whatever song it was. I don't remember. Um, I had a lot of beer that night. Um, bygones. Um, but city ordinance, we can't go past 10 o'clock because we were out on the patio
Uh-huh.
and there's homes around there. So city
And
ordinance
you
says
can't
we
have it.
can't go past
You
10
10
o'clock.
o'clock, so you got to shut her down.
Yeah. If it had been inside, it would have been different. But I'm on the social committee for the club and try to help build events and whatnot. And we did the karaoke thing, and we said, hey, we want it out on the patio.
Yeah.
More fun that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. It makes sense to me. Well, 5 to 10 should work. I mean, I get
it was, it was.
hard cut off at 10 o'clock. Yeah.
Well, and when it started and everything, nobody was going up and nobody was going up. So I said, "Fuck it, I'll go up." And I put in
Hmm.
Great Balls of Fire and I kicked it off. And
Hmm.
once I did that song, then people started putting in songs, and then more people started going, and more people started going. So you would have enjoyed it. You would have had a blast.
Nice. Nice. I love to cheer people on. Yeah.
Yeah,
I love to cheer people on. Look, man, everyone can sing. You just got to find the song that you can sing.
that's correct.
And you
And
need to sing it with fucking confidence. Because you sing
yes,
it with confidence, even if you're not that great, it'll roll. Bob Dylan has been singing
yeah,
for
that's
like
true.
70 years. You ever heard that motherfucker sing well? No, you haven't. But
Let
he
me
does it with confidence.
let me say this about that. If you go to a karaoke night and someone has the stone to get up there in front of public and
Hmm.
sing, whether they can sing or not.
Hmm.
Please applaud. Please give them applause.
Yes.
Please, yay,
Yeah,
give them some words
they're
of
living
encouragement.
their internal dream singing that
Well,
song.
they like I said, they had the stones to get up there and sing no matter what. Not everybody can do that. And I'm not
Hmm.
disparaging anybody that can't. That's a scary thing to go up there in front of a group of people and try to sing. That's a very scary thing. So if you do go to karaoke, I beg you, please clap for everybody who sings, no matter what.
Hmm.
So
Yes.
so hey, in this episode 209 of karaoke we're doing,
Yeah, let's get on to the next one. Sorry. We're doing kind of derailed there. This is going to be
window
a
of
long
opportunity.
window of opportunity. The next song in our list is one of the two songs that kind of kicked the list off. It is "No Smoke Without a Fire" by Bad Company. It's the English rock group Bad Company, released on the second single from their eighth studio album, "Dangerous Age." Um, Despite failing to match the success of the album's first single, Shake It Up, No Smoke Without a Fire was played substantially with Shake It Up on rock radio stations at the time of its release, eventually reaching a peak of number 4 on the Billboard mainstream rock tracks. Cashbox called it an auspicious comeback effort for Bad Company, saying that a bolder, heavy signature track lumbers away under an inspired vocal effort. So, as we said before, Mick Ralphs and Simon Kirke had just worked on a solo album that didn't go anywhere, and they decided to team up again and form a band. But Atlantic Records said that they had to use um, the name Bad Company because they were both in Bad Company. This is not really Bad Company. This is a band they put together um, with Steve Howe, who had been singing with Ted Nugent, or I'm sorry, Brian Howe, not Steve Howe, um, to basically belt out a bunch of power ballads because that's what they wanted to do. Um, Dangerous Age, they did use Terry Thomas instead of Olson, who did their first album. And this is they kind of got the whole thing. No Smoke Without a Fire is one of those power ballads that they did off this period that I just love, even though they're kind of cheesy. I love the build up. Definitely power chord heavy, which I like. Um, but yeah, this is one of the songs that got the idea for this list.
Well,
What
not,
do you think about
I
No
had
Smoke
never
Without
heard,
Fire?
yeah, I had never heard this one either. But again, as we talked about last episode, I've always liked Bad Company. This one is no exception. This is a great song, and it went into my list. I wasn't familiar with it, but
Oh, so
immediately
you
again,
see, I prefer the other one over No Smoke Without a Fire, but I love them both.
no, I like this one. I
Yeah,
like
No
this
Smoke
one.
Without a Fire. Yeah,
Yep, yep.
yeah. That you know, he fucking hitting it. Yeah, this is a good one. The next song, God, is "Home Sweet Home" by Motley Crue.
Here we go.
Motley Crue is an American heavy metal band formed in Hollywood, California in 1981 by bassist Nikki Sixx, drummer Tommy Lee, with guitarist Mick Mars and lead vocalist Vince Neil joining
Vince.
right after.
Yep.
They've achieved 7 platinum or multi-platinum certifications, 9 top 10 albums, the Billboard 200 charts, including 1989's Dr. Feelgood, which is their only studio album to reach number 1. 22 top 40 mainstream rock hits and 6 top 20 pop singles. Members of Motley Crue are often noted for their hedonistic lifestyle and androgynous persona they maintain. Following the hard rock and heavy metal origins of the band's first 2 albums, Too Fast for Love and Shout at the Devil, the release of its third album, Theater of Pain, saw Motley Crue joining the first wave of glam metal. Um, Home Sweet Home is a power ballad by American heavy metal band Motley Crue. It was originally released in 1985 on the album Theater of Pain, and again in 1991 for their Decade of Decadence compilation album. It's been covered by several artists, most notably country singer Carrie Underwood. The song is often
Really?
referred, yeah.
Oh my God, I need
Actually,
to
it's
find
way
that.
better. Yeah,
I need to
when you get
find
a
that
good
right
singer singing
now.
it, it is way better. It's referred to as a power
Oh,
ballad, and it was the template for other hair metal bands to do it. Was because of Home Sweet Home. It's got a slow rocking groove and surprisingly melodic verse and chorus making it a pleasant metal outing. Now, having said that, I do not think this only fits 5 of the criteria.
mm.
Vince Neil, this is probably the best song that dude ever sang. He cannot sing the tits off of it because he cannot sing very well. And again, I'm not saying anything about singers who can't carry a tune in a minute bucket. Again, Robert Smith. I love Robert Smith. I like the way he sings. Vince Neil, the way he sings fits with what they do. Um, but I wouldn't have him sing opera. The same with Bob Smith. Every other thing, it ticks this off. It's a little cheesy. They definitely did this the Steel Dragon way. Um, it's about lost or unrequited love or fear of love. It does get stuck in your head. It's bluesy rock guitar solo, kind of heavy, and there is power chords. What do you think about Home Sweet Home?
Are you fucking kidding me? Um, this is Motley Crue at the height of their greatness. This song is tremendous. This is when Vince Neil could sing. He sung his ass off in this. He showed he had some chops at one point.
I will say this is the best song he ever sang
I'm a
or
huge Motley
recorded.
Crue fan. I'm a big Motley Crue fan. This song is simply one of his best. He can't sing now. If you expect to go to their tour that they're on right now with Def Leppard, Joan Jett, everybody who's seen that concert will tell you Def Leppard was great. Joan Jett was great. Europe was great. Motley Crue, not so much. And it's because Vince Neil can't sing anymore. They need to find somebody else who can do it. I mean, I know they're doing it for nostalgia and everything with this band, but this song is tremendous. Home Sweet Home is great. And there's a song that's coming later. I'm going to come back to this song. So
Okay.
just put a pin in that because I'm going to come back to this one.
Okay.
Um, Home Sweet Home is a great song. This is a song of them being on the road and wanting to come home. And it's beautiful. I think it's great. Um, Power ballad for sure. Power ballad
Oh,
for
it's
sure.
definitely a power ballad. When you think of
Trying to
power
find,
ballads, this is one of those things in it. I just don't care for Motley Crue. I never thought they were that good. Um,
and I know you don't think that. I know. I
but I
do.
mean, I think this is probably the best. This and Girls, Girls, Girls are probably the best two songs they ever did. And yeah, as far as the height of his vocal performance, this is the top. He never sang better than he sang on this. I just don't think he's a great singer. And again, he was perfect for this. Um, I I love Robert Smith. I love Bob Dylan. Neither one of those guys can carry a tune in a minute bucket. I'm not saying anything untowards about guys who they have their voice and their voice sounds a certain way and it conveys the feeling that they need to convey. He did in this case,
Yeah.
um,
I
but I
love this
recognize it
song.
as a great power ballad.
I love this song. Oh, she did Home Sweet Home on American Idol. I don't remember that. I'm sorry. I'm still looking up the Carrie Underwood one.
It sounds like you need to get a copy of that one. I have
Yeah,
heard it. It's pretty good.
I can't get it on
When I was putting this
Spotify,
list together, I
so
was like, "Oh, really, Carrie Underwood? Yeah, it's pretty good."
yeah. So
Um,
I don't know. Like I said, this is no shock to me that I love this song. We've talked
mhm,
about Motley Crue in previous episodes. I'm a big Motley Crue fan. This is in my golf playlist when I'm alone.
mhm,
No, rephrase that. Not with my wife because she hates Motley Crue. So
mhm. The next one is "Can You Take Me High Enough" by Damn Yankees. Damn Yankees were an American rock supergroup formed in New York City in 1989, consisting of singer-guitarist Tommy Shaw of Styx, singer-bassist Jack Blades of Night Ranger, guitarist Ted Nugent of the Amboy Dukes, and drummer uh, Michael Cardleone, who would later join Leonard Skinner. They were remembered for the songs "High Enough" and "Where You Going Now," both top 40 hits in the early 1990s. High Enough is a song by American supergroup Damn Yankees from their self-titled debut album, a power ballad. It is their most successful single in terms of chart positions and sales, rising to number 3 in the U.S. Billboard Hot 100 charts, and the group's first and only top 10 pop single. It also reached number 2 on the U.S. mainstream rock tracks. The success of High Enough helped send its parent album into the top 20 of the U.S. album charts. Now, having said all this, as we've spoken about before, between 1985 and 1991-ish, depending on where you're looking at that, um, pop radio was either hair metal or it was uh, poppy soul. That's all. That's really all you could listen to. They stopped putting the things in that were different from that because that's what was selling or that's what they wanted us to buy. So it was promoted, and the loss of AOR radio plus the change in FCC rules where one company could own more than one radio station in a market changed, and I think radio suffered for it. Having said that, power ballads ruled the airwaves from 1985 till about 1991.
yep.
Um, this song is, I think it was released in 1992, is what it said. I think as far as power ballads go, in the construction and the making of them, I think this may be the pinnacle. I think this song is about as good as they got for that time period. Because as I said, power ballads are still going on. We still get them. We had them before. We had them later. But that particular hair metal band, and let's face it, Tommy Shaw and Jack Blades can sing the fuck out of this song. And it's not either one of them alone, because I don't think they could have done it as well. It's the two of them singing it together. It fucking soars. Having said that, this song is cheesy as fuck.
And I don't like this song. I've never been a huge fan of this song. I agree about Tommy Shaw. His breaking
And
off
Jack Blades.
well, but I'm speaking specifically about Tommy Shaw, his breaking off from Styx, because Dennis DeYoung was a, let's say, at church. Um, Sorry, did I say that loud
He
enough?
was a chop.
Oh, I can't stand the light. The
The
light's
light's
hurting me.
bothering me.
Um, and Dennis DeYoung could sing. He really could. He was just a chop.
Yeah,
And he is why Tommy Shaw left Styx, and Tommy Shaw went back to Styx later once Dennis DeYoung was gone.
yeah.
But I'm just not a huge fan of this song. Damn Yankees was a super group.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I just didn't think they separated themselves any more than any other hair band out there. With this song, I know there's a lot of people that loved this song, but I'm just not one of them. So the count is now five for me.
Yeah. See, I kind of see this as the that again between about 1985 and 1991, all those hair bands would do they do a rocker and they do a power ballad.
Yeah, I
This is
just didn't,
basically the last one that you've got.
and I
They
just
didn't
didn't
really
think
do
that.
much
Yeah,
after this one.
yeah, I just didn't think this one stood out any more than anybody else. So nah,
Uh,
this was not a big one for me.
I think this one's a soarer, but I mean, we can both agree it is a power ballad.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. All right. The next one is "Open Arms" by Journey. Um, Journey is an American rock band formed in San Francisco in 1973 by former members of Santana, the Steve Miller Band, and the Frumerous Bandersnatch. The band, as of 2024, consists of Neil Sean on guitars and vocals, John Kane on keyboards, formerly of the Babies, D. Castronovo on drums, Arnel Pineda on lead vocals, Jason Derlata on keyboards and vocals, and Todd Jensen on bass. Journey had their biggest commercial success between 1978 and 1987 with Steve Perry was the lead vocalist. They released a series of hit songs, including "Don't Stop Believin'," which in 2009 became the top-selling track on iTunes. The top-selling track in iTunes history among songs not released in the 21st century. "Escape," Journey's seventh and most successful album, reached number one on the Billboard 200 and yielded another of their most famous singles, "Open Arms." The 1983 follow-up album, Frontiers, was almost as successful in the United States, reaching number two. Open Arms is off the 1981 album Escape. It's co-written by band members Steve Perry and Jonathan Cain, formerly of the Babies. The song is a power ballad whose lyrics attempted to renew a drifting relationship. It is one of the band's most recognizable radio hits and biggest U.S. Billboard top 100. It reached number two on February 1982 and held that position for 6 weeks behind Centerfold by the J. Giles Band and I Love Rock and Roll by Joan Jett and the Blackhearts. It also reached number two in Canada. Okay, before we talk about the song, "Open Arms," "I Love Rock and Roll," and "Centerfold" by the J. Giles Band. What a great fucking three-peat. I love all three of those fucking songs. But okay, "Open Arms." We can all agree this is a power ballad, right?
How can you like power ballads and not like this song? Steve Perry can flat out belt a song out, just
Steve
flat out.
Perry could.
Could I didn't say
Yeah.
now.
Oh,
It's
okay.
just
All right.
like
Oh, I
just
thought you
like
meant
Vince.
now. I'm like,
No,
he could
just
at one
like
point.
no, it's just like Vince Neil. He used to be able to. Steve Perry could flat out belt out a song. This is one of Journey's greatest songs.
Yeah, but
Phenomenal.
yeah,
Definitely
this
top.
is one of the greatest songs by the band that did "Don't Stop Believin'."
Yeah.
I
Did
think
you
this song is better.
did you know that Escape spawned a video game?
Yes.
Coin up video game. I
Yep. It's got their heads.
Yes. The only place, the only place I ever saw that video game was at the MEP station when I was shipping out for the Army. That's the only place I ever saw it, and
Oh,
we
dude,
got to play it
it
there.
used to sit in front of the. There was a copy of it that sat in the entryway of the Kroger's over on Highway 80 before they moved it down the
Oh, that's
street.
funny. That's funny. Um, but anyway, digress. This song is phenomenal. Journey was great. Journey had some absolute phenomenal songs, and Open Arms was just brilliant and 100% a power ballad.
Yes, yes, 100%. I actually like Faithfully a little bit more. That's on me, but
It's
it's like 1A and 1B. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
I can see that. I can
Yeah,
see that.
but no, this definitely um, this definitely needs to be in the mix. It was on the heavy metal soundtrack. It was huge.
I'm sorry. I even like Oh Sherry, which is not Journey. It's Steve
And I should
Perry.
have been gone.
Oh, you should have been gone.
Yeah, that almost made the list. um, yeah, it's another banger. Just the next song. The next song is one of the songs that are cited when mentioning the power ballad genesis. The genesis of what is a power ballad. This is one of the songs that is pointed to as one of those songs. It is I Can't Fight This Feeling Anymore by REO Speedwagon. Uh, REO Speedwagon, or simply REO, was an American rock band from Champaign, Illinois, formed in 1967. The band cultivated a following during the 70s and achieved significant commercial success throughout the 1980s. Their best selling album, High Infidelity, contained 4 U.S. top 40 hits and sold more than 10 million copies. REO Speedwagon sold more than 40 million records and charted 13 top 40 hits, including the number ones Keep On Loving You and I Can't Fight This Feeling Anymore. It is a power ballad performed by the American rock band REO Speedwagon, written by lead singer Kevin Cronin, who pronounces all of his R's when he sings, and it's a little off putting. The song first appeared on the 1984 album Wheels Are Turning, and the single reached #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 chart and held the top spot for 3 consecutive weeks from March 9th to March 23rd, 1985. It was the group's second and last #1 hit on the US charts, the first being 1980's Keep On Loving You. Um, so they did perform this song at the Live Aid concert in 1985. And according to Cronin, the inspiration for the song was the hurt he felt when he became attracted to a woman who was part of his friends group. Cronin states that this woman was, of course, going out with my friends, so I kept it to myself. There was a group of us who would hang out together, and she was always there. Eventually, she and I were becoming friends, and there was no hanky panky going on. The more I got to know her, the more I liked her, but I couldn't say anything about it. Cronin said that he was only able to finish the song when he couldn't fight the feeling anymore and made the move to kind of go for it. He said he knew those verses were something special because of the depth of feeling he felt for them. I couldn't force it. Cronin said that when he did express his feelings to the woman, they ended up having a great relationship, and although it didn't last, they are friends to this day. So there you go. Nice little happy story. What do you think about I Can't Fight? You're holding up a 6. You don't like the song?
Um, I actually hate this song. I mean,
Is it the
hate.
R's? Is it the way he pronounces the R's? Because that is off-putting.
I I
Forever.
find him whiny through this song, and I know a lot of people love this song, and it was a huge hit for them.
Oh, fuck, it was. It was
I
everywhere in 1985.
I hated this song, and due to this day, six people, six. Wait,
I
well,
can't
there we
fight
go.
this feeling
Yep,
anymore. Yeah,
yep.
yeah, a lot of people
That's
love on this song.
Yeah,
Um,
that's six for me.
I would say that I think this song ticks all the boxes, but the box it ticks the biggest is the last one.
Oh
This
yeah,
song is
it's
fucking cheesy.
it's a power ballad. I'm not debating that at all.
Yeah,
It is 100% a power ballad.
yeah, but
I
it
just
is 100% cheesy too.
I just hate this song.
Yeah, and REO Speedwagon was originally like a kind of a hard rock band. But Kevin convinced them to do ballads, and that's they sold. So they kept letting him do them until they stopped. being selling well, and then they went back to rocking, and then after that they became
People
a
tell me they
greatest hits
love this
album.
song, and I mean, my response is always like, "Ooh, Mario Speedwagon." Ooh. I hate that song.
You know what? I don't think any of the songs in this list I actually hate.
I hate this one.
I don't think we've got any that I actually hate. The next one I fucking love. It is Still Loving You by the Scorpions. And who the fuck told them they could go this hard on a power ballad? Jesus fucking Christ. The Scorpions are a German hard rock band formed in Hanover in 1965 by guitarist Rudolf Schenker. The longest running and most successful lineup of the band included Schenker, Klaus Meine on the vocals, Matthias Jobs, lead guitar, Francis Buchholz on the bass, and Hermann Rebel on the drums. And it lasted from 1978 to 1992. The band's only continuous members have been Schnecker, and although Meine has been with the band continuously since their first album, Lonesome Crow, Jobs has been a consistent member since 1978, while bassist Powell Majiwoda and drummer Mikey D have been in the band since 2003 and 2006, 16 respectively. Still Loving You is a power ballad by the German hard rock band Scorpions. It was released on June of 1984, the second single from their ninth studio album, Love It First Sting. The song reached number 64 on the Billboard Hot 100 and was most successful in Europe, reaching the top 5 in several countries. Rudolf Schenker already composed parts of the melody around 1976, but the lead guitarist at the time, Uli John Roth, rejected the song as too commercial. It was not until 1983 when the composition was completed and singer Klaus Meine added the lyrics. In an interview with Songfacts, Schenker explained it was a story about a love affair where they recognized it may be over, but let's try again. Um, and when I say it goes fucking hard, Jesus fucking, you need to play this motherfucker loud. It goes hard. This charted all over the fucking world. And again, they're a German band, but they like to sing in English. They had several hits over here. But again, it's one of those songs that all the genres liked. All the genre kids liked. You know, the kids that were into metal liked it. The kids that were into like goth and punk and stuff like that, they also liked it. It was a weird one. Um, what did you think about Still Loving You by the Scorpions?
So we're going to go back to 1985. Five?
80,
Four.
84.
Four.
Late 84, early 85.
We're going to go back to that time period.
Hmm.
Really step back about a year to about 83. But anyway,
Okay.
those of you who have watched the show or, those of you who have seen us in person have known that I have had short cropped hair since I got out of the army.
Hmm.
I've never let it grow long again. It's always been short. I might have been a little longer than I am now, but I had short cropped hair. 1983. Your host Jeffrey had a
Hmm.
mullet. Had a mullet. A long shoulder length mullet.
Really? Why
Yeah.
have I never seen pictures of this?
The only picture I know that exists, if my mother has it, is my military dependent ID that I had to get renewed that year when I had that hair. Um, she may still have it. That's the only picture I know that's in existence of it.
Oh my God, we need that. Just like if there's anybody out there that has pictures of me with the fucking
I thought we had one of the with the Robert Smith hair. I thought we found one of those.
nope, we
Huh.
did not.
Huh.
You got me with the spiky hair, which I had spiky hair in the 90s, off and
Yeah,
on, all through the 90s. It'd either be long or I cut it short and make it spiky.
maybe that's it. But anyway, so going back to this. Um, and I had that hair because I saw myself as a headbanger back then.
Uh-huh.
I liked Twisted Sister. I
Uh-huh.
liked uh Scorpions, all these type of bands that were really kind of considered headbangers. Scorpions Still Loving You was on Love at First Sting. I had it on cassette, and kids, let me tell you, I wore that cassette out. Still Loving You is amazing. They have another one which almost comes close to being a power ballad, but it's not because it's not about love, and that Winds of Change. Um,
Winds of Change makes me cry.
Winds of Change is about what was going over on in Europe.
Yeah, it's
And
amazing because it's like you think they're singing about the Germans, but if you listen to that song real closely and know anything about geography, he's following the Moskva
yeah,
down to Gorky Park. Those are in Moscow.
yeah.
He's talking
Um,
about the Russians being free as well.
yes, yeah.
Sadly, they are no longer.
And so, and Winds of Change was a more lauded hit for them than
Hmm.
Still Loving You. I think Winds of Change. I think I'm almost positive it won a Grammy. I'd have to look it up. Great song, not a power ballad. Still Loving You fits this list as a power ballad. If you have never heard this song, please, for the love of God, stop everything you're doing right now, pause this show, go listen to Still Loving You, and see why this song is incredible. All right, you're back.
Yeah, I can't do that.
That's my take on Still Loving You. I
See, if you guys
love this
listen to
song.
him, you understand what we're talking about. It's like, God damn,
Yeah,
his fucking voice. You got this soaring guitars, and the guitars will stop for a second, and he'll go, "I'm still loving you," and then pick up again. It's fucking anthemic.
well, check
Definitely
it.
a power ballad. The only box that this song doesn't check, this song is not
It's
in the
not
least
cheesy.
bit cheesy
No,
at all.
no,
I think this is
no.
the only one on the list that isn't.
Yeah, no. This song is
Yeah, it's just
phenomenal.
fucking, oh my God. And he fucking goes hard.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Um,
amazing, amazing, amaze balls.
Amaze balls. Um, okay. The next song, there's going to be some controversy around the next song. It's not the song itself, the song's great, but what I'm about to say. We'll go with the background on it. It is All the Love in the World by the Outfield. Actually, it's just All the Love, but the sign the tagline is All the Love in the World. They were an English pop and rock band formed in London in 1984. The band achieved success in the mid 1980s and are best remembered for their hit single Your Love. The band's lineup consisted of guitarist John Spinks, vocalist and bassist Tony Lewis, and drummer Alan Jackman. They had an unusual experience for a British band that they enjoyed commercial success in the United States, but never in England. The band began recording in the mid 80s. They released their first album, Play Deep, which this song is off of, in 1985 through Columbia Records. The album reached number 9 on the Billboard 200 list and then reached double platinum in the United States. The band's single, Your Love, reached number 6 on the Billboard Hot 100, as well as number 7 on the Main Street rock charts, and became their signature song. The band continues to record and tour through the 1980s and then into the early 90s, while subsequent albums Banging and Voices of Babylon saw chart success. The group's popularity waned. It is a debut. Play Deep is the debut studio album from the Outfield. Um, the success, their debut single was actually "Say It Isn't So," but it was more of a regional number one hit, like in the Midwest, and it reached number 18 on the U.S. rock charts. And "Your Love" reached number 6, and "Play Deep" peaked at number 9 and sold. The singles "Your Love" and "All the Love in the World" reached number 83 and 96 respectively. It was the third single from the album Play Deep. Now, as I've said before, I love the Outfield's album Play Deep, and Your Love is a great song. It is not the best song on that album by a long shot. This one is. That's the controversy. People are like, this song's not nearly as good. Yeah, it is. This and Every Time You Cry. Uh, Two great fucking songs. And again, I'm not saying that Your Love is a bad song. Uh, it's just not as good as this one. What do you think about All the Love in the World by the Outfield?
Mario Speedwagon. Sorry, I just had to say that again. Um,
I am Speedwagon.
I think that was from The Simpsons. I think that was something I got from The Simpsons. But anyway, not a fan of the outfield. Not a fan of this one. This ticks box number 7 for me.
Uh,
I don't like this song. I didn't like it when it was out. Do I agree it's a power ballad? Yes. But this one is just not for me.
You don't like the out? See, that surprises me. I figured you'd dig the outfield. I
Oreo
could,
Speedwagon.
I could tell you that their first two albums, they had this one producer who fucking mixed their voices perfectly. They decided to get rid of him, and their next two albums, they got a different producer that makes Tony Banks' vocals sound different.
Tony Bakes from Genesis?
No, Tony Banks. I'm sorry. There's a guy named Banks in this.
Oh,
John
okay.
Spinks and
Oh,
Tony Lewis.
okay.
Sorry.
I was going to say, Tony Banks, I may have to give this a second listen.
No, John Spinks and Tony Lewis. Sorry.
Okay.
Uh, they mixed his vocals differently, which is why those albums didn't sell as well because they fucking suck. They were overproduced. And it's like, God damn, the first two albums were fucking incredible. Banging, I love Banging. Um, Matter of fact, my favorite outfield song is on Banging. It was the big hit. Um, oh, it was great. Love these guys. The Pop-Up band. And what's weird is they would play fucking stadiums over here. They'd play pubs in England. Matter of fact, they kind of split up for a while, and some Americans were over in a pub, and they were like, "Hey, man, these guys are a great fucking outfield cover band, right?" Little pub in the middle of nowhere. They look over, it's the fucking outfield, and they convinced them to start touring the U.S. again. The next song,
Let me
uh,
let me take this one.
okay,
I want to open this one.
okay,
So the next song on our list is Cutting Through. I Just Died in Your Arms.
uh huh,
The first thing I have to say on this song is, good Lord, I can't believe this song is almost 40 years old.
uh
It's
huh,
40 years old next year.
uh huh,
Um, 1986 was one of my favorite years in high school. I was really coming into my own, and I was massively smitten with a girl at school.
uh huh.
Massively. This song was huge that year, and every time I heard this song, my heart just ached for this girl because I just couldn't tell her. This was her song. Um, I don't think she knew, or maybe she did. I don't know. She's a friend of mine to this day, and she is a listener, so I'm not going to name her out.
I know who this is.
But this song was hers.
What's going on, girl?
This song triggers memories for me every single time I hear it. I love this song to this day. I will not have a playlist without this song in it.
Mm-hmm.
I love this song. It's a power ballad. There you go. There's my introduction to that song.
Okay. You know what? I would agree. This is a great song. My only problem with the song is it was way overplayed.
Sure. Well,
Yeah, it was.
it was again, it was a product of I don't know how they are now, but it was a product of pop radio stations in the 80s that once you reach that top 10 status, which this one did,
Yes, it
may,
did.
may have hit number one, I don't know. But once you hit that top 10, you will hear that song every hour
Yeah.
with other stuff mixed in.
Yep. Yep.
This was how I made mixtapes in the 80s because I knew my favorite songs were going to play. All I had to do was sit there for a couple of hours and I could pull all of my favorite songs.
All your favorite songs off of there.
Yeah.
Uh, Cutting Crew are an English rock band formed in London in 1985. That's the name of the band. Which I did not know. I thought they were European for the longest time. I thought they were like Dutch. No, they're English. They're best known for their debut studio album Broadcast and the hit single I Just Died in Your Arms and I've Been in Love Before. I would also say there was a third single off that one called One for the Mockingbird, which never gets the props it deserves. One for the Mockingbird is an incredible fucking song. While still in his teens, Nick Van Eede, born Nicholas Eade, recorded a few UK solo singles in the late 70s. Later, he was in the band The Drivers, which found success in Canada, particularly with a 1982 single, Tears on Your Anorak, which toured Canada. The Drivers had a support band called Fast Forward, whose lineup included guitarist Kevin McMichael. Van Eede was so impressed with McMichael's guitar playing that he asked him to form a new band. The Drivers broke up in '84, and McMichael continued to tour Fast Forward in 1985. McMichael survived an accident when his tour bus drove off the side of a mountain, and he relocated to London to join forces with Van Eede. Initially, the two made demos before bassist Colin Farley and drummer Martin Frosty Beadle joined in 1986. So the band formed in 1986, and then they released Broadcast in November of 1986. So they got up there in a hurry.
Hmm.
It was first released in the United Kingdom in November of '86, and later released more widely, including the United States, Canada, and Japan in March of '87. Um, they had four remix tracks: "Any Color," "One for the Mockingbird," "I've Been in Love with Before," and "I Just Died in Your Arms." Um, there was a imprint of Virgin Records America, and this was like the first album that they released. It is the debut single. Um, it has been described as the power ballad and the band's biggest hit, peaking at number one in the United States, Canada, Norway, and Finland. So yes, it did hit number one. According to Van Eed, he wrote down a lot of song titles of ideas on a sheet of wallpaper, and one of the lines written there was, "I just died in your arms tonight." The line came to Van Eed while he was having sex with his girlfriend. Van Eed said, "I actually remember saying that and wrote it down." He woke up in the morning, wrote the song, and recorded a demo in 3 days. He first added some chords in the line, singing it phonetically before adding other lines from the wallpaper to construct a song. So basically, yeah, a sheet of wallpaper that he just wrote a bunch of shit on.
Hmm.
He wrote for 3 or 4 hours before realizing that what he was singing about. He said, "I'd split up with my girlfriend. We got back together, and one night there was a lot of guilt because I should have kept my distance." So, well, you already said what you thought about
I
it. You
did.
love this song.
I do. I absolutely love this song.
You love this
Um,
song.
they're considered a one-hit wonder, but the other song on their album, Been in Love Before, was a hit too.
Mhm.
Just not as
So
powerful
was
as this.
Yeah, so was One for the Mockingbird.
Yeah,
So they actually had three hits on that album.
yeah, but they're considered a one-hit wonder because this was huge for them. Absolutely huge for them. And yeah, I love this song. Absolutely power ballad in the list. You're breaking something, you've broken
Can we take
something.
a break?
Oh, you want to take a break?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. Listeners, do you want to take a break? We'll take a vote. Let's hold. Let's see if Ziggy pees on himself.
There's nobody
Okay.
on.
All right. So Ziggy's going to take a break and then we're going to come back. All right. Zig took his break and we're back to you, listener. That was just about a second. But anyway, next song.
All right. So the next one, again, as I applied this criteria and realized that they're still going on, I realized that the English rock band Radiohead also did a fucking power ballad, and it's their most successful song. It's fucking Creep. They're an English rock band formed in Abington, Oxfordshire in '85. They comprised Tom York, vocalist, guitars, piano, and keyboards, brothers Johnny Greenwood, guitar, keyboards, and other instruments, and Colin Greenwood on the bass, Ed O'Brien on the guitar, and Philip Selway on the drums. They've worked with the producer Nigel Goodrich and the cover artist Stanley Donwood since 1994. Radiohead's experimental approach is credited with advancing the sound of alternative rock. Creep is the debut single by the English rock band Radiohead, released on September 21st of 1992 by EMI. It was included as the second track of Radiohead's debut album, Pablo Honey, in 1993. It features blasts of guitar noises by Johnny Greenwood and lyrics described as obsessive, unrequited attraction. Now, I have heard the story of how the song came about. Um, let's just say from the horse's mouth. I don't want to call Tom York the horse, but basically the guitar player was in love with this girl who was kind of a popular chick, and he felt like a, a creep and a weirdo.
Hmm.
So he wrote the lyrics to this, and Tom York's like, yeah, let's make this a fucking song. So they did, and it went all over the world because they are an alternative band. Radiohead is just, they're a little indie alt band, but for some reason, this song struck a chord with all the disaffected youth around the world, and everybody fucking loved it. So you get them playing it at the MTV beach party, all dressed in black, trying to get away from the sun, singing this next to a pool, and it's fucking amazing. Greenwood regularly uh, breaks strings because what he does is he takes his pick and he comes from way up by his shoulder and just basically beats the strings into submission for that because it's the only way he can get that sound, and it has to sound right. What do you think about Creep?
I like this song. I don't listen to it much, but I like it. This song comes from a really weird time in my life where I was kind of in the dark of a lot of music. The only reason I would hear it is if it was playing on the jukebox at a bar that I was in, but I really didn't listen to the radio much then. I got kind of good and bad memories with this time in my life because it was really weird. But yeah, I
I sang
like
it at
this song.
karaoke a bunch. I think that's where you heard it the most.
Probably. I mean, this is definitely a ballad, a power ballad for sure.
Yeah,
Like I said, I like it. I like it.
yeah, yeah. It's I would say the giant cheesy point goes to the fact that there are a bunch of weird, odd-looking Englishmen singing about unrequited love and playing power rock. It looks incongruous, but they pull it off. The next song, Easy Lover. It is a song performed by Philip Bailey of the band Earth, Wind, and Fire and Phil Collins of the band Genesis. Jointly written and composed by Bailey, Collins, and Nathan East. The song appears on Bailey's solo album, Chinese Wall. Collins has performed the song in his live concerts, and it appears on both his 1990 albums, Serious Hits Live, and his 1998 compilation album, Hits. It is Bailey's only top US 40 hit as a solo artist. Um, the reason I put this so far down on the list, I mentioned it as originally calling them honorable mentions, but I mean, I'm not 100% sure this is a power ballad. I just love this fucking song.
I think it is. This is an all-time great song. I've talked about it before. Genesis is one of my favorite bands, and Phil Collins was breaking out on his own at this point, and Genesis are from Genesis, and they put out this hit. I
Mhm.
can't help but still love this one. It's a great, great song, and I do. I think it hit. I don't think it's cheesy, um, but I do think this is a power ballad.
Yeah, and both of them sing the ever loving tits off the song. Jesus
Yeah,
fuck.
yeah.
Um,
Phil Collins is
it's bass and drum heavy, but you got a bassist and a drummer who wrote it. So
right, right.
yeah,
Phil Collins could belt out, and he actually still can
yeah,
belt out music. Unfortunately, he just can't stand anymore.
yeah.
His last concert, which I believe was the final, with
He did it in a
Genesis,
chair.
he had to do it in a chair for the
Yeah,
whole
but he can
tour.
still sing.
Yes,
He just
he
can't play the drums
absolutely can.
anymore.
No, no, no. But they've had a secondary drummer with Genesis for a very long time who is almost as good as Phil Collins, because Phil Collins is a great drummer.
Yeah.
And I can't remember his
Is it still Daryl Sturmer?
Daryl Sturmer. Yep,
Yeah,
yep,
Daryl Sturmer is a fucking fun. Here's the thing. Daryl Sturmer is such a great drummer that Phil Collins thinks he's good, which
yeah.
means he's fucking good.
Go out there and find the Phil Collins drum duet video and watch him and Daryl do that drum duet. It
Uh-huh.
is It's phenomenal. And I mean, you just watch Phil Collins through that whole thing. He's got his eyes closed
Uh-huh.
as he's doing it, and he's just feeling everything with it. And it
Hmm.
is phenomenal. They did it on tour for the Way We Walk tour. Just great. But anyway, I digress. This is a great song. I
I think Daryl played the drums on this too.
I'll I'll look
I'm
that up.
pretty sure it was Daryl that played the drums on this.
Look that up.
Um, uh, oh, what else can you say? Philip Bailey and I always want to say Philip Michael Bailey, but it's not. It's Philip Bailey and Philip Michael Thomas. But they're around at the
Yes.
same time.
Yes. No. Oh, wait. Daryl was electric lead and rhythm guitar on this one?
Yeah, Daryl Sturmer is a multi-instrumentalist, so that
Okay.
actually doesn't surprise me.
Okay. So he was electric lead and rhythm guitar on this one.
Fuck!
They
Oh, the
don't
guitar work on there is great. Way to go, Daryl Sturmer.
they don't credit anybody for the drums on this.
That must have been Phil playing them.
Interesting. Probably.
Yeah, because they're
It just
fucking
says,
heavy.
oh yeah, Phil was on drums. There we go. Yep. 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 Cool. Good
But
song.
yeah, this is a beautiful fucking song.
Yep.
Uh, And it has an Earth, Wind, and Fire feel to it too, which
Yep.
makes it even fucking better. Um, the next one is more of a modern tune. It's I Write the Sins, Not the Tragedies by Panic at the Disco. The reason I put this in, this song is about, how did I put it? I'm going up here. It's about lost or unrequited love or fear of love. The problem is the singer is not the person who the love problem is happening to. He is witnessing it at a wedding that is falling apart. And that's why I love this tune. Panic at the Disco is an American pop rock band formed in Las Vegas, Nevada in 2004 by childhood friends Ryan Ross, Spencer Smith, Brent Wilson, and Brendan Urie. Following several lineup changes, Panic at the Disco operated as a solo project of frontman Urie from 2015 until its discontinuation in 2023. I Write the Sins, Not the Tragedies is the second single from the debut studio album A Fever You Can't Sweat Out from 2005. It was released in the United States as digital download on 16th of November 2005. The song is built upon a pizzicato cello motif that was played by session musician Heather Stebbins. It reached a peak of number 7 on the US Billboard Hot 100s, the band's only top 40 hit until the release of Hallelujah in 2015. Uh, and the only top 10 hit High Hopes in 2018. While the song failed to reach the top 10 of the modern rock tracks chart, peaking at number 12, the song's success in the Hot 100s and mainstream top 40 at number 2 made the song one of the biggest modern rock hits of 2016 and is still one of the band's most played songs on all alternative radio stations. So it got bigger on the main charts than it did the indie charts. This is an indie band. Um, what do you think about I Write Sins, Not Tragedies?
Total is now 8. Didn't really like this one. I've heard a couple of their songs before. I'm just not a fan. The what I did find interesting about this, and I don't know if you knew this or if you heard this. If you did not hear this, go back and listen very carefully. They sampled Eleanor Rigby on this song.
Yes, they did. Yes, they
To
did.
me, it was very evident that it was
Yeah.
Eleanor Rigby
Yeah,
playing.
they used a little bit of Eleanor Rigby in this
Yeah.
song. Uh, well, I mean, their name is an ode to a Smith song,
Oh,
Panic at the Disco.
a lot of people like this band.
Yeah,
They're a massively popular band.
you
Um,
definitely sing along, and you could close on the goddamn door.
yeah.
That's what rings with me with the song. It's just like, oh my God, that's the way people really say that.
Hmm.
You don't
Hmm.
hear that much in music. Usually it's fairly flowery. I chime in with, haven't you people ever heard of closing the goddamn door? It's like, wow, boy, he's hitting on all 8 cylinders.
Yeah.
But again, my problem with this being a power ballad is usually the power ballad is sung from the perspective of someone in the process. This guy's not in it. He's
Hmm.
standing at the side watching this fucking wedding fall to pieces. And he's just trying to say shit to make people stop arguing. I love it. But I mean, it does fit the criteria,
Right.
and it is a little cheesy. Well, that is it for 209's list.
Sweet.
Uh, Stay tuned for 210
Yes. Coming up
part
next week.
3.
Yes. Again, big fan of this genre overall. Like I said, the total is now 8. We're at 20 plus songs. And there's only 8 that I either didn't care for or Mario Speedwagon hated.
Mario Speedwagon.
Um, Power ballads I'm a huge fan of power ballads. So great list. With that, we'll step over to the murdery side of the house.
Murder.
For today, I got my information off Murderpedia, crime,
Murderpedia.
crimes.net.
Crimes.
Yeah, CRIMEZZZ.net. Weird Darkness, Wikipedia, and Medium. And this is the story of Magdalena Solis.
Magdalena Solis.
Yep. I've known this story for a while. I've heard this one before. I'd forgotten to put this on my list, and I was looking for topics not too very long ago, and I ran across her name, and I'm like, oh yeah, that story. Um, so this takes place in May 1963. Very warm day in May of 1963, and 14-year-old Sebastian Guerrero was out exploring near the small village of Yerba Buena, which is sometimes spelled Yerba Buena in two words, which is in southern Tamaulipas,
Tamaulipas.
Mexico. Thank you, Mexico. There's a
Tamaulipas.
bunch I'm not going to be able to pronounce here. I've
That's
started
well,
asking,
in your defense, that's actually not Spanish. It's older than that.
I've started asking Chuck to teach me Spanish, um, especially when he swears. I want to know all of it. Um, because one of the things I say whenever we're golfing, if if he if he misses a shot just really close, I'm like rude, and so I believe rude in Spanish is grosero, which actually means translates loosely to dadgummit. He just told me the other day,
Grosero.
uh, grosero. I think it's inappropriate person or something like that. But anyway,
Rude.
rude. Every time he misses something short, I go rude. Anyway, um, so this is at the feet of the eastern Sierra Madre Mountains. The area has many caves, and there's a lot of legends about gold, lost gold, and hidden treasures inside of them. It was almost dark, and Guerrero saw something that intrigued him. There were flickering lights coming from inside a nearby cave. So he went closer to investigate. He began hearing sounds, which he realized were human sounds, but not sounds of talking or singing. He thought he even caught a whiff of the scent of incense, which was probably copal, which is the resin that was used by the Aztecs,
Mhm.
now used by Brujos and curanderos.
Brujos.
Brujos, again,
Brujos or Brujas if
I'm
it's a
not going to be
lady.
gr I'm not going to be great with these words. Um,
Witch doctors. That to be the
yes.
closest thing you'd have to it. Yeah, yeah.
So he was curious, but that was nearly eclipsed with fear because he approached the mouth of the cave, trying to stay silent and out of sight. He peered inside and he saw a scene that was almost too terrible to be believed because inside the large cavern, most of the villagers were gathered. Many of them were nude, engaging in sex, and others were passing around a ceremonial chalice, drinking a dark fluid. At the far end of the cave. There was an elaborate altar, and Guerrero saw where the dark fluid came from, and it came from a human being who had been hacked to pieces, and the final drops of his blood was being collected in these chalices. Standing above them all was a woman holding the bleeding heart of the man who was lying on the altar.
Oh, she
Uh,
did that properly.
mhm. Guerrero became terrified and he ran more than the 15 miles to the town of Villagran, which was the closest police station to the isolated village. He tried explaining what he saw, saying the villagers were, quote, drinking blood like vampires, but the police laughed him off, thinking his imagination had carried him away. He insisted something terrible had happened in the caves, so the next day, Police Inspector Luis Martinez agreed to follow Guerrero to the area to see for himself, and neither of them would be seen alive again. Until very recently, until that time, the village of Yerba Buena had been quiet, very sleepy, if you wanted to think about it that way. Even calling it a village was giving it way too much credit. It was really an ejido, 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 communal farm,
Ejito?
communal
Yeah,
farm.
yeah.
And it comprised only about 20 families. There weren't any schools, police, or even a church. They were poor, mostly illiterate residents who engaged in subsistence farming, selling what little corn and beans they could spare in the nearby towns. Then in 1962, the Hernandez brothers, Santos and Caetano, arrived in Yerba Buena. The brothers had previously traveled around northwest Mexico, pulling off various scams, then leaving town before they could be caught. And it's really a mystery why they chose Yerba Buena. It was an isolated village without any money or resources, so it's kind of weird. But when they arrived, they claimed to be prophets of the ancient Incan gods. They used sleight of hand tricks and convinced the villagers they had supernatural powers. And the brothers told the villagers if they obeyed the brothers and followed their directions, they would be led to the vast riches rumored to be hidden in the nearby caves. So To bolster their claims, the brothers made up strange rituals with cannabis-laced incense smoke and animal sacrifice, which they performed inside one of the caves. And since the poor villagers had no money to give them, the brothers began demanding other tithes. They ordered the villagers to serve them, essentially making the entire village their slaves. And they were now living like kings. They sought out the prettiest girls in the village, even as young as 14, and told their parents that the girls needed to be given to the brothers to learn about sex. The villagers didn't dare disobey since this was the word of the gods after all. And once the brothers had their fun with the girls, they would sell them off to traffickers who would send the girls to border towns and force them into sex work. Sex wasn't the only thing the brothers demanded from the girls. Or with the young girls, they demanded sex from nearly anyone at any time, and the villagers had to obey. After a time, their rituals began to include sex, essentially turning into orgies. But as the months went by and there was no gold, some of the villagers began questioning the Hernandez brothers' supposed power. So, in order to keep their scam going, the brothers told the villagers that they would leave to go talk to their gods and would come back with a goddess. So, they didn't go to a mountaintop and pray. They went to Monterey, the largest nearby city, and home to some of the sex traffickers they'd previously dealt with. Their plan at the time was to convince a sex worker to come back to Yerba Buena with them and pretend to be a goddess in order to keep fleecing the villagers. And it didn't take long for them to find Magdalena Solis. She had been forced into prostitution at the age of 12, but also had a lucrative side hustle as a fortune teller and medium, claiming to channel the spirits of the long dead Brujas. Magdalena came from a poor and most likely dysfunctional family in Tamaulipas. How,
Tamaulipas.
yeah, how you pronounced it. Supposedly she was born there in 1947. She is believed to have been working as a prostitute under her brother, who was a local pimp named Elizar, before joining the Hernandez brothers in 1963. After this, Solis developed a serious theological psychosis, causing her to experience major religiously oriented delusions of grandeur, coupled with a myriad of paraphilic disorders expressed in consuming the blood of her victims, sadomasochistic tendencies, fetish practices, and pedophilia. So the Hernandez brothers told her about the scam, and she eagerly accepted that she would go. And she, along with her brother Elazar, traveled back to Yerba Buena with the Hernandez brothers. But she didn't simply ride on the back of a horse. When the brothers returned to the village, they told everyone that their goddess would arrive that night, and they had to perform a ritual to summon her. So that evening, the villagers participated in the brothers' ritual, and at one point, the brothers produced a thick cloud of smoke, and once it cleared, Magdalena Solis stood before them. The villagers were awestruck, and the formerly abused girl now held total power over the villagers. She was supplied with all the cannabis and peyote she wanted, which was quite a bit. And under
Wow.
the influence of these drugs, Solis now really believed she was a goddess, specifically the reincarnation of the Aztec mother goddess, uh, Cotlicu. We'll go with that.
I'm
Uh,
sorry. What?
Cotlicu, Cotlicue. Cotlicu,
Okay.
some Aztec goddess.
Yes.
Under her reign, the cave rituals became even darker. Villagers were given peyote, either consensually or not, during the rituals, making them highly susceptible to her commands. She insisted not only should they perform animal sacrifice, but they should drink the blood to gain
Quatlique.
immortality. Thank you.
Quatlique.
She insisted they should drink the blood to gain immortality. And then the ritual orgies escalated as well. And like nearly everything else, they were directed by Solis, who demanded the villagers engage in incest and bestiality.
I was about to say, yay, orgies. Well, no, no.
Not so
Not
much.
incest and bestiality.
Not so much.
No.
At one point, two of the village men began to question the increasingly disturbing new religion and wanted to leave. So Solis labeled them as unbelievers and ordered the villagers to beat the men, then lynch them. Hey, sounds like Scientology. My God, I'm gonna get visited. Um, somewhere, someone in Scientology went ding, 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 ding. Um, sorry, they're scary.
Yes, they are.
Um, From that point, her bloodlust spiraled out of control. She insisted that the rituals now include human sacrifice, and any villager who wasn't obedient enough would find themselves on the altar to be beaten, burned, and hacked to pieces by their fellow villagers.
In the name of Quetzalcoatl.
Huh?
In the name of Quetzalcoatl. I just learned the pronunciation
Quetlake.
myself. Quetzalcoatl.
Ario Speed. Sorry. Um,
Mario Speedwagon.
Not content with simply butchering her victims, Solis now began copying ancient Aztec sacrifice rituals, cutting the hearts out of her victims while they were still alive, depositing the blood in a chalice mixed with chicken blood and narcotics, mostly marijuana or peyote, from which Solis drank before passing along to the brothers and finally the other members. Again, she said it would give them supernatural abilities and mortality. Solis and
I'm
the Hernan,
picturing this everybody in headdresses and feathers at this point.
I would imagine so, yeah.
Yeah.
Solis and the Hernandez brothers proclaimed the blood is the only food the god can ingest, and that their goddess needed to drink it to preserve her eternal youth. This carnage lasted 6 continuous weeks, during which 4 people died and had their hearts extracted. And it was during one of these gruesome rituals that Guerrero had stumbled upon that warm May evening. So days went by. Guerrero Martinez did not return. The police went to the Villagran police went to the state police, and on May 31st, 1963, the state police, along with a contingent of the army, went to Yerba Buena to find the missing men and learn what was going on. They found the Solises along with Santos Hernandez in a farmhouse, high off their faces and in possession of a large amount of cannabis. The Solises were promptly arrested, but Hernandez attempted to flee and the police shot him dead. Um, so they saw that a massive armed force was descending on the village and arresting their goddess. So the rest of the villagers holed up in the surrounding caves. The villagers and the police and army engaged in a shootout, but the few poor villagers were massively outgunned. Those who survived the shootout were taken into custody. Once they searched the area, the police found the bodies of Guerrero and Martinez on the property of the farmhouse where the Solises had been living. They had had their hearts cut out of their bodies. A search of nearby caves yielded the bodies of 6 more victims, many of whom had been dismembered. Caetano Hernandez was also found dead, but police would later learn he had been murdered by another villager, Jesus Rubio. Rubio had learned of the brothers' scam and wanted in on it, and when Hernandez refused to cut him in, Rubio murdered him. The Solises, along with Santos Hernandez and the other villagers arrested in the raid, stood trial in Ciudad Victoria. Since none of the villagers would testify against them, Magdalena and Eleazar Solis were only convicted of the murders of Guerrero and Martinez and were sentenced to 50 years each. The remaining villagers were convicted of, quote, group or gang murder or lynching for the other 6 victims and given 30-year sentences. Um, eh, only, only 8 bodies were found, but it's suspected that this cult may have murdered up to 16 people. It's not known what happened to Solis. If she served her time, she would have been released in 2013. However, some reports state she probably died in prison. And the caves in which she used to hold her bloody rituals are still scattered in the mountains above the wreckage of Yerba Buena, and few people are very willing to go near them now. And that's the story of Magdalena Solis.
Wow. Quetzalcoatl.
Yeah, yeah. Little
Wow.
little cult action for you there.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
You bet. Appreciate you sitting through that story with me and appreciate the song list. Remember, come back next week for episode 210, where we will finish our 3-parter. Hope you've enjoyed it. I know I have, and hope we've given you some stuff to listen to if you've never heard it before, or if you have heard it before, do like I'm doing as I'm listening to Zig talk about the music. I'm just bobbing my head to the music in my head. So that will take us to the end of another recording week. As always, you can find more information about us on nerderyandmurdery.com. That's our website, our hub for everything about us. You'll find links to this episode plus pictures, and you'll also find the link to our YouTube page, which Zig so often updates.
Yes, you definitely need to listen to the YouTube playlist because it's got all the music in it.
Outstanding. Appreciate all the work you do on that. You can also find our merchandise page where if you wish to show off your Nerdery and Murdery fandom, please do consider purchasing something from there. You can also find the link to our Patreon site on our site if you wish to become a patron and donate the costs that are associated with the show. That, along with our merchandise, help keep us on the air. There are costs that are incurred for our storage, for our uploads, for our website, our Lamborghinis, our Ferraris, our mansions. No, okay, scratch that. Cancel those last ones.
I'll say it again. I thought I said it in episode 200. The more of you guys who do this, if enough of you do it, you'll get more of this every week. Please, thank you.
That's very true. Please and thank you. We appreciate each and every one of you. Please don't forget to leave a 5-star review wherever you can. It is free, only takes you a couple minutes, and does help us and helps others find our podcast and get the information that you so enjoy every single week. And last but not least, before I forget, Chuck, you can go to sleep now.
Good night, Chuck. Good night, Cookie.
Good night, Chuck. Good night, Cookie. With that,
I have been Zig with your nerdery.
and I'm Jeffrey with your murdering.
Cue the music.